So here's something I find extremely funny that I see comments on social media about all the time regarding contracts. So let's talk about purchase contracts. When you're advising a client and they say, I'm not sure if I want to have a financing condition in there or whatever. And we tell them just make sure that whatever you're writing, that you understand that that's a legal contract, that you're obligated to meet all the requirements in it, and make sure that we're comfortable with a backup plan if you can't, because it can be very detrimental for you to have to break that contract. If you've committed to buying a house and then you can't buy it, right? You can't fulfill your obligation on the contract, you're going to have to work with your lawyer to get out of it. And there could be repercussions, deposit repercussions. If they sell to someone else for less, that seller could come back to you for the difference and any fees that they've incurred. So you need to make sure that you're really careful with how you're reading that contract, what you're signing, and that you're really clear on what the exit strategy is. And if you get to a point where you need to exit that contract, you can't fulfill it, you need to work with your lawyer, right? Not your realtor, not the person who writes the contract, the person who negotiates the exit of the contract. So, this is what we tell our clients all the time as mortgage agents. Why do mortgage agents sign contracts with brokerages and not read them, not take them seriously, not ask questions about what the exit strategy is if there's some sort of a breakdown? Because when I think about my life, I can't tell you what I'm going to do 5 years from now. So I can't guarantee that my business is going to operate the same way at the same place 5 years from now. So signing a 5-year contract would have some risk for me. And as a result, I would be reading that contract with my lawyer to determine that I had the exit strategies I needed if in 4 years I wanted to do something different. Or in 4 years, that home was no longer the right place for me. When you are signing a contract, do it with a lawyer, read it, and be aware of what's in it. And more importantly, when you're trying to break it, just like those clients who say, oh, I'll just talk to my realtor about not dropping off the deposit. That's not what you do. You can't just run away. You have to deal with breaking a contract. If your contract has repercussions in it that you agreed to, you're going to have to negotiate how to get out of those. And I wouldn't do that myself. I would have somebody whose job it is to negotiate contracts and negotiate safe releases from contracts be doing that for me. So I think, my point is we tell our clients to take seriously what they're signing as a legal document, but yet we don't always take that same advice ourselves. Be aware that if you are signing a contract, you should read it, you should know what's in it, and you should know what the repercussions are if you no longer want to be in that contract and there's some sort of term to it, right? And I'm not saying they all have terms, right? Not all of them do. But if there's a term for 5 years or whatever, just like a mortgage, is there a penalty to break early? Are you allowed to break early at all, right? Just like a mortgage, bona fide sales clause, maybe you can't refinance out of that contract, but you need to know those things. So please, uh, I see all these comments online about this contract wasn't fair, all this stuff. That's on you to read it. That's on you to negotiate it on the way in. That's on you to ask questions. And I know we all want to believe that everyone has our best interests at heart, but sometimes they're not the people who write the contracts, right? Sometimes your team lead is not the person who writes the contract. It's some, I don't know, lawyer, HR person at the brokerage. So just make sure that what is in that contract is what you believe you're getting. And if that's no longer the case, is there a way to get out of it? And if there's not, know that on the way in so that you know, just like our clients, sometimes maybe they do want to take a 5-year term with a bona fide sales clause or something. And it's not saying that that's a bad product. It's just saying you have to be aware of all the details of it on the way in. And you have to be aware that you're committing to it for 5 years. There's no getting out of it unless you're going to sell this property. There's nothing you can do. If it doubles in price, you can't refinance it because you took this special type of mortgage, right? Really, really just go read your contracts. Go read your contracts, ask questions. Don't sign anything without knowing what you're signing. And don't think you can just walk away from someone if you've committed in writing to them legally that you are going to do something. You will need to work with a professional to negotiate that if that's something that you want to terminate early. Read your contracts. Have your clients read their contracts, and deal with some really great lawyers if you ever need to help your clients or yourself get out of a contract early.